Heavenly Father, we come to you today with a humble heart, seeking your guidance and wisdom as we begin this program. Lord, we ask that you would bless every person who has gathered here today, and that you would be present with us in a special way. We pray that this program would be a time of learning, growth, and fellowship for all of us. Help us to listen to one another with open hearts and open minds, and to support one another as we strive to serve you in all that we do. Please give us the strength and the courage to follow your will and to use the gifts and talents you have given us to make a positive difference in the world. We pray all of this in your holy name. Amen.
So again, welcome to our today's session on our sixth installment of Equip. So this session is hosted by the Department of Emergency Medicine. So again, the title is Handa Tayo, Gabay sa Sakuna, a guide on natural disasters. So we'd like to extend our thanks to Petro for hosting this event, for Quirino Memorial Medical Center for allowing us to share our speakers' insights regarding today's topic. So to formally begin our session for today, I'd like to request Dr. Eileen Bellones to introduce our speaker for today's session.
Good morning, everyone. For today's session in our Equip Series 6, our speaker for this session is our very own consultant in emergency medicine here in Quirino Memorial Medical Center, Dr. John Gilbert Alpaño. He is a fellow of the Philippine College of Emergency Medicine, and Dr. Alpaño has extensive frontline experience in emergency medicine, care and disaster response, and actively involved in managing acute and critical case in high volume of emergency settings. So his expertise aligns closely with today's topic on disaster preparedness and emergency response. This morning, Dr. Alpaño will guide us in our Equip series Handa Tayo, Gabay sa Sakuna, a guide to natural disaster. Let us all welcome Dr. John Gilbert Alpaño.
Hi, thank you, Eileen. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Equip series. So let me just share my screen. Okay. So, and good morning. I'm Dr. John Gilbert Alpaño, an emergency medicine consultant here at Quirino Memorial Medical Center. So, ito, disasters, no? So, alam naman natin na ang Philippines is isa sa mga pinakamaraming sakuna na nangyayari. Tapos, ito, i-discuss natin kung ano yung mga nangyari, mga pwede natin gawin para makapag-prepare tayo. Okay? So, here is an outline of my discussion. So, first, we have the introduction definitions. Next is the common natural disasters in the Philippines. And then, its impacts of natural disasters. And I'll give some disaster preparedness frameworks. Tapos yung mga government agencies kung saan tumutulong in times of disasters, and practical preparedness measures, and finally our conclusions and some words para ma-improve natin yung mga sistema natin. Okay? So here, for our introduction definitions. So throughout the year ng 2025, our country has was hit by 23 cyclones as recorded by Pag-asa. No? So its the effects of 23 cyclones of varying intensities over 20 million Filipinos across the country, according naman sa NDRMC, o National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. So 20 million Filipinos. So ang total population ng Philippines ay around 112 to 120 million. So pwede natin sabihin na 1 out of 6 Filipinos were affected by these cyclones, no, and natural disasters. Isipin nyo, 6 kayong tao, tapos isa doon affected by these disasters. So, highlight ko lang din na hindi porket hindi nyo naramdaman na hindi kayo affected ng natural disaster na to is wala na kayong pakialam, no? So, ganun kalaki yung impact nito sa Philippines. Okay? So, dito kita nyo yung Typhoon Tino, 269 dead, no? Tapos dito may earthquakes, 'di ba? Nung sa Davao Oriental magkasunod, no? After few hours, una nagka 7.4, then nagkaroon ng 6.8 magnitude. Isipin mo kung pasalamat tayo na hindi tayong affected, no? Pero paano yung mga nasalanta nung times na yun? Okay? So here we can see this is the World Risk Index of 2025. It indicates the disaster risk for 193 countries worldwide and highlights the risk of and exposure of natural hazards as well as on societal vulnerability. So, kita nyo ito, Philippines number 1. Uy, Philippines. So, hindi maganda na tayong number 1 sa risk exposure in terms of natural calamities. So, alam naman natin, natural events such as floods, storms, droughts, earthquakes affects large populations. No? Okay. Tapos, here, we could see that this is the Pacific Ring of Fire. It is a tectonic belt of earthquakes and volcanoes. So, and it surrounds mostly of the Pacific Ocean. So, the Ring of Fire contains 750 to 915 active and dormant volcanoes. So, around 2/3 ng mga volcanoes sa buong mundo nandito sa Pacific Ring of Fire. So, and about 90% of the world's earthquakes, including most of its largest, occur within the belt. Okay? So, Philippines, kita nyo, nandun tayo. Yung mismong linya, hindi ko na nga makita yung Philippines eh. Okay? So, congratulations, number 1. Okay? So, for the objectives of this lecture, by the end of this lecture, I want participants to be able to recognize the Philippines' vulnerability to disasters and their impacts. 2, describe the national, local, and institutional frameworks for disaster preparedness. 3, apply practical measures for individual, family, and community readiness. 4, appreciate the importance of resilience and collective responsibility in disaster management. And 5, commit to integrating disaster preparedness into everyday life and professional practice. So here, we have our definitions. No? So a disaster is a serious disruption of functioning of a community or society at any scale due to hazardous events or interacting with conditions of exposure, vulnerability, capacity, leading to one or more of the following. So human, material, economic, environmental losses, and impacts. So sa atin, i-discuss natin yung natural disasters, no? Pero meron tayong mga iba't ibang mga disasters pa, tulad ng mga man-made disasters, no? Yung mga environmental, economic disasters, no? So the effect of a disaster can be immediate and localized, but it's often widespread and could last for a long period of time. The effect may test or exceed the capacity of a community or society to cope using its own resources. So usually they require assistance from external sources, which could include neighboring restrictions and national international levels. So kapag, 'di ba, may baseline tayo, 'di ba? So kapag nagkaroon ng disaster, na-exceed yung capacity natin na mag-serve and makapag-provide sa ating constituents. Kaya usually humingi tayo ng tulong mula sa iba. Okay? So yun, disasters, no? So it exceeds the capacity of a community or society to cope using its own resources. Next is yung hazard. So it is a process, phenomenon, or human activity that may cause loss of life, injury, or other health impacts, property damage, social and economic disruption, or environmental degradation. No? So examples nito is biological hazard, environmental hazard, geological, hydrometeorological, technological, and phenomena. Okay? So ito, yung mga samples ng hazards, pwede natin makita kung nasan tayo. So meron tayo hazard hunter. No? Ito yung mga links natin. So kung nasan man kayo sa Pilipinas, pwede check kung nasan kayo. No? Sa NOAA, no? Okay? Meron din siyang hazard map. Nakita nyo kung yung bahay nyo ba is risk for, kung may hazard for flooding. So, and then sa Pag-asa and PHIVOLCS, makita nyo rin kung malapit ba kayo sa earthquake fault. Okay? Next is yung exposure. It is the situation of people, infrastructure, housing and production capacities, and other tangible human assets located in hazard-prone areas. So, kunwari, it measures it can include number of people or types of assets in an area. So, they can be combined with specific vulnerability and capacity of the exposed elements to a particular hazard to estimate and quantitative risk associated with the hazard in the area of interest. So, gaano ka-expose tayo dun sa hazard na yan. As compared naman sa susceptibility, it refers the structural characteristics and general conditions of societies that increase the overall likelihood of population suffering damage from extreme natural events and entering a state of disaster. So, ito mas internal to, no? So, susceptibility indicates the extent of resilience and resource of a population to mitigate the immediate consequence of extreme events. So, it describes the probability of hazard occurring at a specific location. So, kunwari, yung bahay, nasa may steep slope sa mga bundok, no? It is susceptible to landslides and mga hazards, no? Ng mga flooding, ganun. As compared naman sa vulnerability, so these are the conditions determined by physical, social, economic, and environmental factors or processes which increase the susceptible individual or community assets or system to the impacts of hazard. So, kumbaga, it represents the potential for loss. So, for example, yung mga vulnerable population, di ba? Yung mga low-income family affected by flood, yung mga severe elderly, no? Or yung mga bata, mga extreme of age. So ito, yung disaster risk, no? The potential loss of life, injury, or destroyed or damaged assets which could occur to a system, society, or a community in a specific period of time. It is determined probabilistically as a function of hazard, exposure, vulnerability, and capacity, no? So kanina, 'di ba, nabanggit ko yung hazard and its exposure. So and yung vulnerability. So ito yung mga makikita mo, mako-compute mo kung gaano ka at risk for these hazards. Okay? So kanina, yung Philippines, 'di ba? So kompleto natin eh. So tayo nasa ring of fire, hazard tayo, exposed tayo, no? Tapos vulnerable tayo dahil limited lang din yung mga capacity natin para makapag-improve or makapag-mitigate ng mga disaster na mangyari sa atin. So here is the capacity. So it is the combination of all strengths, attributes, and resources available within an organization, community, or society to manage and reduce disaster risk and strengthen resilience. So the capacity may include infrastructure, institutions, human knowledge and skills, mga trainings, and collective attributes such as social relationship, leadership, and management. So gaano tayo ka-capable ma-mitigate or ma-manage yung disasters. Okay. So ito yung mga pwede natin ma-improve. Diba? So, infrastructure, institutions, tapos yung mga training. Yeah. So, okay ba ang capacity natin sa Philippines? So, balik tayo dito, no? So, kung makikita ninyo na yung Philippines, di ba, pinapatungan ng Pacific Ring of Fire. Pero, tingnan nyo, pati yung Japan, no? Hindi ko na rin makita yung Japan. No? So, dito, again, balik tayo sa World Risk Index of 2025. Makita ninyo na ang Philippines number 1, pero dahil nga susceptible tayo, nakapatong tayo sa Pacific Ring of Fire, pero yung napaka-vulnerable natin, no? And then yung capacity natin bagsak, no? As compared dun sa Japan. So kung makita ninyo, no? At least meron nami-mitigate nila kasi yung exposure nila, pati yung vulnerability nila, na kumbaga, kaya nilang na-improve nila yung capacity nila para ma-mitigate yung effects nung exposure nila sa mga earthquakes, tsunamis, and mga flooding. Okay? So, eto. So, as compared dito, di ba? Isipin nyo kung sa Japan, di ba? Pwede pa rin mangyari. Makita nyo na nandun pa rin exposure eh. Pero, namimitigate nila or kung maghahanda sila sa responde as compared sa atin sa Philippines. Kaya tayo, napaka-vulnerable natin as a country in times of natural disaster. Okay? So, may isi-share lang akong video na kung makita lang din kung gaano ka huli na tayo as a country, Philippines, no? Ito, ay, share, share sound. Okay. May sound ka?
まだまだまだまだ
So, ito yung nangyari noong 2011 pa to, no? Japan earthquake. So, ito ay sa isang hospital sa Japan. Kung makita natin kung paano sila mag-respond sa earthquake. Sila yung isang mahigit yung dekada na. So, compare din natin kung kaya ba natin gawin yung ginagawa nila na kanya-kanya.
あれこれ透析センターでまず安全確保だから安住君テレビつけすぐ今球団だって電源停電で
So, take note of the timestamp.
パソコンは切れます
はい、2時50分、災害対策本部、設置。
Set up na sila ng task force. Makita nyo, alam na nila kung ano yung kailangan na lang. Report yung at the area. Again, 2011 pa to ha. Malamang meron na silang mga info. Meron na silang na-report ba?
はい、レベル3に決定、レベル3です。15時3分、レベル3。15時3分、レベル3です。
So, then, alam na nila eh. Ay, tayo nakabili pa rin. At sila tulong-tulong, no? Kahit yung mga na-admit, orders, sila lang yung gagawin. Sabi na, tayo lang yung
Sorry for the interruptions. Let us wait for our ano po, speaker. Na-disconnect lang po.
sorry na ano lang. So, nakita niyo naman na meron na tayong mga pasyenteng hinahandle sa ospital. So, pero nag-expect pa na darating yung mga pasyenteng galing sa community. In 1 hour, 2 hours, ito yung mga na-prepare na nila.
この2人赤との伝令係で確保しましたんで。人のパワーで周りの情報ってどうなんですか？今津波がワンスが来てるんでしょうか。
車の方は大至急移動してください。南580ヒロ2747ステレグの車で来ている方は車大至急移動してください。
Pinapauwi na pero kahit yung mga kalsada, sarado. So kahit mga tarps, gamit. Pwedeng hindi kama. Kung meron tayo, pwedeng gamitin yung tarps natin as temporary beds.
スタンダードとかその辺とかもちょっと多めに使えるのは用意したいと思いますので、あとなんかあった方がいいなと思うので言っていただいて、薬品だけじゃなくて物とかで必要なものあったり言ってください。あと全部本部と調節してしますのでお願いします。
基本的には何かないとか何かあるときには僕か
Nakita niyo yung chain of command?
人さんに言っていただければと思います。あと看護師のフリーダー的な人が
Alam nila yung mga roles nila.
職員に連絡します。日勤義務者は帰宅せずに各部署で待機をしてください。
Mamaya discuss natin yung incident command system. Hapyaw lang. Kumbaga, ito yung calm before the storm, no? Yung mga malalapit lang yung kaya makapunta dahil sarado yung mga roads. Pero once na magbukas, dadagsa na yung mga pasyente. So, kita nyo, nag-a-adjust pa rin. So, hindi porkit yung ano yung nakasulat, yun yung always nasusunod. So, nag-adjust yung situation.
Disconnect lang po saglit.
あとなんかあった方がいいなと思うのは言っていただいて、薬品だけじゃなくて物とかで必要なものあったり言ってください。あと全部本部と調節してしますのでお願いします。
基本的には震えてる、寒い寒い寒い。渋滞なのね、渋滞。まだまだいるんだね、まだまだいるんだね。はい、あ、頭落として落として。毛布とか用意されてんだよね。寒いね。そうだ。ちょっと毛布用意して毛布。はい。
名前入れますか。住所
宮城県石巻4064です。当選が混乱してるようなので入れ替えてください。
Dito na maganda pa rin yung documentation. Well informed in hospital director. The situation. Within 2 hours, 3 hours pa lang, kung napansin yung timestamp, ang dami na nangyari. Lahat sila gumagalaw. No? Okay. So, dumating na yung Defense Force.
我々としては重点的に被害の大きいところの救助活動を当たろうと思ってやってまいりました。その情報を
So, makita niyo yung incident command system. Disaster nga, no? So, coordinated
了
na
解。
with the large agencies.
病院の人とかあります。俺のに対して救助するかな。
So, hindi kaya ng DOH lang. Bilang hospital, kailangan natin tulong. Okay. Yan yung kung gano'ng sila ka-organized. Alam na nila mga plano. Naging evacuation center na rin ng hospital. So, never say no to accepting patients and we're the last resort of the patient. Ito yung mga public health risk na potential disaster. Medical service during emergencies is an ongoing activity. So, tuloy-tuloy yan. Okay, so, ito nasa YouTube lang naman to kung gusto nyo panoorin ulit, no? Or i-share. Okay? Sa Red Cross. Okay. Okay. So again, yung sa video, kita nyo kung 2011 pa yun, no? So, kaya, kaya ba natin sa Philippines? Okay. So ito ay ano, no? Kaya kita niyo naman, kahit na-expose sila sa mga hazards natin, meron silang mga capacities to improve or to mitigate the damages that could be done to through preparedness. Okay? So yan. Okay? So next is yung part 2 is yung common natural disasters in the Philippines. So yan, nakita natin kung anong paano natin makita kung ano yung effect ng mga disasters sa atin, no? So ano yung mga pwedeng mga improve natin through our capacities. Okay? So ito naman yung common natural disasters in the Philippines. So makita niyo yung tropical cyclones and flooding, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, landslides, and tsunamis. Okay. So tropical cyclones and flooding, according to Pacasa, more tropical cyclones entering the Philippine area of responsibility. So around 20 kada year. So about 8 of them crossing the Philippines. And then peak of the typhoon season is from July through October, where nearly 70% of the typhoon develop. So kita nyo dito, no? So itong first half is konti lang. Pero pag tungtong ng July to October, makita nyo, ito yung average typhoons or I mean tropical cyclones na nangyari sa atin. So next is the classification of tropical cyclones. So ito, so una kapag 62 kilometers per hour, tropical depression ang tawag doon. Okay? Kapag tropical storm, it is 62 to 88 kilometers per hour. So kung alam nyo, kapag tumatakbo kayo sa NLEX, no? Or SLEX, ang minimum doon is 60 to 100. Okay? So kapag nandun kayo, ganun kayo kabilis ang takbo. Okay? So ganun, tropical storm yung hangin doon. Tapos, kapag severe tropical storm, 87 to 117 kilometers per hour. And kapag typhoon, 118 to 184 kilometers per hour. No? So, kita nyo, tropical cyclones yung ginagamit kong term. Pero itong typhoon, dito pa lang siya ginagamit. And as next is yung super typhoon. So, maximum wind speed exceeding to 185 kilometers per hour. Okay? So, ito, makita ninyo, yung wind ito, kung gaano kalakas yung hampas ng hangin. So, ito yung as compared mamaya sa flooding naman, yung rainfall. No? So, hindi natin masabi kapag porkit may tropical cyclones, nagbabaha na kaagad. So, masangin yung effect nito. So, ito yung effects ng tropical cyclone. It could be through strong winds, no? Kaya sira yung mga or damage sa properties, tornadoes, no? Rainfall and flooding, and storm surge. Lalo sa Philippines, marami tayong mga coastal areas. So, and then, sa rainfall advisory naman, makita ninyo, ito yung mga average rainfall. So, kapag red, more than 30 millimeter of rain na levels, no? And ideally, mag-evacuate na rin. And then orange, no? So, 15 to 30. And then, yellow, kapag 7.5 to 15 na. Okay? So, usually ito, kapag ito yung mga levels natin. Pero, syempre, hindi lang naman nagbabaha porket dahil sa ulan, no? So, here is infographic lang galing sa PDRF. So, how floods happen? So, Metro Manila is already a low-lying area with rivers and Pasig and Marikina River. So, eto, kita na. So, nasa baba na tayo, di ba? Tapos, galing sa Sierra Madre, Rizal, yung mga Marikina, yung mga valleys, di ba? So, yun yung mga nasa low-lying areas as compared dun sa mga nasa bundok. So, water fills Marikina and Pasig River and dams. And then, river overflow and seawater from Manila Bay overflows din. Kaya nagkakaroon ng residential areas din. So, dahil din sa mga clogged drains and concrete areas with no trees, forest prevention prevent water from exiting. So, kaya meron meron na tayong water level na pumapasok, pero wala tayong paraan para mawala yung tubig through drainages natin na barado. No? So, yun. So, pati yung mga puro concrete, unlike kunwari soil, so diretso sila sa lupa na nag-absorb. So sa atin, sa Metro Manila, sementado na, tapos barado pa yung drainage, may ipon talaga yung mga flood water sa atin. Okay? Next is yung effects of earthquake. So, ito, earthquakes. An earthquake is a weak air violent shaking of the ground produced by sudden movement of rock materials below the Earth's surface. So, earthquake originates sa tectonic plate boundary. So, di ba nabanggit ko kanina na nasa Pacific Ring of Fire? So, nagsisimula yan sa hypocenter sa baba. No? Pero, pag nasa may surface na siya, its focus is called the epicenter. Okay. So, effects of earthquakes through ground shaking. So, pwede silang vertical or horizontal yung ground shaking. No? Depende sa tectonic plates. Earthquake included landslide, liquefaction, kung saan may mga bodies of water na na-absorb yung lupa. So, nagko-collapse or nagkakaroon ng mga sinkholes. So, kapag yung earthquake nangyari sa may tubig or sa dagat, pwede mag-cause ng tsunami. And then coastal uplift or subsidence, no? So dahil sa mga tectonic plates, pwedeng mag-adjust din yung mga coasts, no? So here is from CNN also, makikita rin to sa PHIVOX, no? So kanina yung typhoon, no, Pag-asa. Ito naman yung PHIVOX. So under para ng DOST, no? Okay? So ito yung mga intensity scale. So usually dito sa level 7, no, makita nyo na talaga destructive na siya. Okay? Kaya kung more than talaga, mga 6, 7, talagang na yan, nakakasira na rin talaga. And then, ito yung sa the big one. So, ano na ba yung mga So, sa lifetime natin, kasi parang sinasabi nila, hinog na daw yung Philippine fault, no? Dahil magkakaroon ng major earthquake, likely more than 7.2 magnitude earthquake or stronger sa West Valley Fault. It would be affecting the Metro Manila and nearby areas, which would also put the Metro Manila at risk. Di ba? Ang dami ng population ng Metro Manila eh. 13.4 with high rises in mga buildings. No? So isipin mo isang building lang ng condo, mag-collapse. No? Ilan ba nakatira doon? Di ba? So multiply mo pa yun sa dami ng buildings along Metro Manila. Okay? So ready na nga ba ang Philippines sa the big one? So may mga ginagawa na yung NDRM, Metro Manila, MMDA, partnerships or mga preparations para ma-mitigate niya yung damage na mangyari yung the big one. Here is volcanic eruptions. Philippines sits in a unique tectonic setting ideal for volcanism and earthquake activity. Excuse me. So, ito makita natin sa PHIVOX pa rin, no? Ito yung mga active volcanoes natin. So, makita nyo yung Pinatubo, sa Luzon, no? Pinatubo, Banahaw, Isarog, Mayon, no? Yung Taal, nandun din. No? Tapos, ito, sa Visayas naman, meron ng Biliran, Canlaon. And then sa Mindanao, ito po. Okay. So, volcanic eruptions, sorry, ito pala yung image. No. Mga volcanoes, which could also be seen through the PHIVOX site. No? So, volcanic hazards, ito yung mga direct effect na mangyari kapag nagkaroon ng volcanic eruptions. So, magkakaroon ng lava flow, tephra ash flow, ballistic projectiles, pyroclastic density, currents of PDCs, and lateral blast, volcanic gas. So, kunwari, mga nakatira sa Mayon or sa Taal, di ba? Ito yung directly associated sa eruption, yung pagsabog. Pero indirectly associated with the eruption, so kasali dyan yung sa lahar, flooding, di ba, kung maalala niyo sa Pinatubo, sobrang umabot sa Metro Manila yung lahar. No? Debris avalanche, landslides, volcanic tsunami, kapag nangyari sa dagat din. No? Ground deformation, secondary explosion, and secondary PDCs and ashfall. So merong direct and indirect effects ng volcanic eruption. So here, also from ABS-CBN, pero also nakuha pa rin sa PHIVOX to, yung mga alert levels, no? So makita nyo dito, from alert level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Okay. Tapos sa PHIVOX din, meron din silang mga infographics with regard sa prevention and ng ashfall, no? So kapag, di ba, alam naman natin meron na silang mga announcements with regard sa pag mangyayari ng eruption, no? So magkakaroon ng before, ito yung mga pwede natin gawin, no? So makapag-prepare na tayo, yung mga food, and then yung mga escape routes natin, evacuation, no? So during, dapat kapag alam natin ash fall, sarado para natin mga bintana, yung mga food natin para natin malinis, no? So kahit yung mga animals na nakakain ng mga pagkain, pwedeng may ash din sa ano nila, mga silicone, mga ganun. And then syempre PPEs, no? So yan. And then kapag after, no? So syempre yung paglilinis, pwede pa rin kasi natin ma-inhale yung ash, no? So yun yung ayaw natin. Kung alam niyo yung longest word, ginagamit um, pang quiz, I mean spelling bee, no? Yung ano nga ba yun? Yung silicovolcanosis, parang ganun. So check nyo na lang saan. Okay. So yun yung pag-inhale ng ano natin, ng ash fall. So next yung landslides, no? So through it is the downslope movement of rock, soil, and debris caused by gravity, often triggered by rainfall, typhoons, and earthquakes, and volcanic activity. So ito yung mga secondary effects na nung mga disaster na nabanggit natin kanina, no? So landslide trigger, so usually natural trigger. So kasali nga doon yung rainfall, earthquake, volcanic activity, man-made triggers. So neto lang nagkaroon ng landslide, pero ito garbage, 'di ba? Sa ano, nagkaroon ng um, death toll na umabot ng 11. No? Dito lang sa ano yan. Netong January lang 'to. Next is yung tsunamis. It is a series of fast-moving, high-energy sea waves, often exceeding 5 meters, primarily triggered by shallow, strong under-the-sea earthquakes. So usually 6.5 pataas, pwede na siya mag-trigger ng tsunami. No? So, ano bang height ng tao? Mga less than 2 feet. No? So kung more than 5 meters siya, lagpas tao, doble pa. No? So yung mga bahay natin, mga second floor, no? So pwedeng umabot doon yung tsunamis. So ito yung pinakasikat na tsunami na nangyari sa Philippines no noong August 1976, a magnitude of 8.1 earthquake in Moro Gulf produced a 9-meter high tsunami. So 9 meters. So sabi ko kanina, 'di ba, dalawa. 2 meters ang isang average male, no? So 2 mataas pa nga actually. So 1.6, mga 1.22. So, yun. 2 times 4. Lagpas 4th floor, no? Yung taas. So, gaano ka, ano, patay sa bahay mo kung hindi siya building, abutan ka talaga ng tsunami na to, no? So, southwest coast of Mindanao left more than 3,000 people dead. 3,000 people. And 1,000 people missing. Also, noong November 1994, meron ding Mindoro earthquake, generated tsunamis at left 49 casualties. So, sobrang tagal na, no? Pero pwedeng mangyari sa Philippines, lalo nasa coastal areas tayo. Then, tsunami safety preparedness measures. So do not stay in low-lying coastal areas after felt earthquake. So, kung ikaw nakatira near coastal areas, kapag naramdaman mo may earthquake, matik yan. Dapat move to higher grounds immediately kasi meron na talagang risk for tsunami. No? If unusual sea conditions like rapid lowering of sea level are observed, immediate move towards high ground. So usually, hinihila niya para magkaroon ng wave, di ba? Kung nasa beach kayo, di ba, may taas baba yan. Usually kapag nagtatampisaw kayo, yung paa ninyo, di ba, nandun kayo sa edge, no? Pero kapag tsunami, humihigop yan ng malaking malaki para ibabagsak niyan pagdating dun sa yun na yung tsunami, no? So, makikita nyo, no, kapag nagre-retreat na yung sea level, interesting sights are often revealed. So, yung mga isda, nakikita nyo, nasa dryland lang, gumagano ganon, no? Kita nyo na talaga yung bottom ng sea, bottom ng beach na malapit sa sea level, okay? So these scenes tempt people to flock the shoreline, thereby increasing the number of people at risk. So ngayon, di ba, uso, yung mga makikita nyo yung videos, di ba, kapag bagyo, nandun pa sila sa shoreline, nagbi-video nung gano'ng kalakas yung impact ng, wag na kayo tumulad sa mga taong yun, no? Kikita nyo yung mga videos na nagbi-video, tapos biglang sahampas na malakas yung wave, di ba? Bigla silang tatakbuhan, tatawanan pa. So, pinuput nila yung lives nila at risk. No? So, isang maling hampas lang ng tubig, hihigupin kagad sila nun eh. So, ayun po. So, tsunami safety and preparedness measures. So, at least maging aware lang din kayo na kung ito yung mga warning signs na magkakaroon ng tsunami din. Okay? So, yan, no? Nabanggit natin yung mga different kinds of natural disasters occurring in the Philippines. So, here, ito naman yung impact ng natural disasters. So, una, yung on the human toll, no? So, syempre, obvious naman na kapag nagkaroon ng bagyo or disasters na mangyari, natural disasters, meron tayong mga casualties. So, merong fatalities, injuries, with millions affected. No? So, pwede yung mga due to trauma, pero affected pa rin yung mga health issues, no? So, kita nyo yung increased risk for waterborne diseases tulad ng diarrhea, cholera, tapos yung mga high blood, no? Yung mga respiratory infections, dengue, mental health, no? And then meron na rin yung mga mental health tulad ng PTSD, depression, and anxiety, no? And then syempre, kasama rin yung displacement ng mga nakatira. So, kapag na-affected ng baha yung bahay nila, 'di ba? Or earthquake, nasa evacuation area sila. So, they have to live in temporary shelters, which could also provide, which could also be source of secondary infection. So, kumari, nagsishare sila sa CR, 'di ba? Walang proper water source. So, yan yung mga human toll of natural disasters. Next, itong economic losses. So, in the Philippines, annually, disasters cause an estimated 200 billion economic losses each year. So, estimated to, no? So, most of which could be avoided through timely investments in resilience, no? So, this can be seen through infrastructure, agriculture, and healthcare systems. So, di ba, ito yung mga vulnerable population, yung mga magsasaka natin, yung mga poor families, walang insurance, yung mga nasa low-lying, di ba? Sila yung affected nito. So, kahit yung kabuhayan, di ba? Or kahit nasa city, kunwari, nag-collapse yung building nila. So, estimated 200 billion annually loss. So, ito according sa PSA, hanggang from 2010 to 2019, no, ito yung naging damages incurred to natural extreme events and disasters. So, ito yung nagastos ng Pilipinas, 463 billion due to disasters. Okay? So, in 2013, kung naalala nyo, yung Ondoy, no? Yun yung mga ano natin, sobrang laki rin yung nagastos doon. Ay, yung ano pala, yun yung Haiyan din. Ayan. So, yun yung ano natin, no? So, kumbaga, ito yung nagagastos natin losses, no? Billions talaga. Kaya mas malaki pa ang matitipid mo kung nag-prepare ka or kapag resilient yung community mo kaysa antayin mo pa magkaroon ng disaster, no? Tsaka ka lang gagastos na malaki para lang ma-recover mo yung mga nawala. So ngayon pa lang maghanda na tayo. Kumbaga investment siya, no? Hindi porket hindi nangyari yung disaster, balewala yung preparedness, no? So mape-prevent niya yung further gastos kapag nag-invest na tayo sa disaster preparedness. Okay? So, economic impact ng natural disasters. Next, yung environmental consequences, no? So, pwede magkaroon ng deforestation. So, usually, di ba, kapag malakas yung hangin, so, kung naalala niyo, maraming AI videos with regards sa Sierra Madre, di ba? Protektahan niyo rin ako, protektahan ko kayo. May ganung pa AI videos pa sila, di ba? Pero totoo naman din, no? Yung deforestation would affect flooding, no? So, environmental consequences din. Destruction of coastal and marine ecosystems. So, yung mga wildlife din, no? Both terrestrial and marine wildlife, affected din kapag nagkakaroon ng typhoon. And soil erosion. So, magkakaroon ng landslides, no? Alteration in land topography. Saltwater intrusion, no? So, yung mga kababayan na natin na nasa islands, di ba? Kung saan nakaasa sila sa deep well, no? Pwede magkaroon ng saltwater yung mga deep well nila, mawawalan sila ng potable water. And then pollution. Diba? So, kita niyo naman pagbaha, no? Heavy siltation of rivers and lakes, accumulation of debris, waste, and contamination of water sources. Okay? So, yung mga impacts ng natural disasters. So, ito naman yung mga frameworks na pwede nating i-manage or mga government agencies para makapag-prepare tayo in times of disaster. So here are the 4 phases of disaster management. So mitigation phase, preparedness phase, response phase, and recovery phase. No? So sa mitigation phase, ito, ini-improve mo or sine-strengthen mo yung capacity ng isang bayan or place, no, para ma-mitigate or ma-lessen yung impact ng disaster, no. So, ito para ma-lessen ang impact ng disaster through public education awareness, hazard and vulnerability assessment. So, dapat alam niyo kung ano yung puwedeng mangyari sa lugar ninyo and improve infrastructure. Kumbaga ito yung mga long-term effects. Preparedness phase, no. So, ito yung provide life preservation and meet basic subsistence needs of the affected population. So, ito yung kumbaga para makapag-prepare nga, no. So, kasali dito yung early warning device, mga standard operating procedures, mga disaster plan, no, training and exercises para maging prepared pagdating ng response phase. Kasi pagdating ng disaster response, no, ito na yung response. Kung ano yung pinaghandaan mo, dito mo gagamitin. So, para ma-lessen mo yung impact niya sa ano mo. So, kanina nabanggit natin impact, di ba? So, meron tayong human toll, economic impact, and then yung environmental impact. So, dapat nakapag-prepare ka na para ma-lessen yung impact. So, kumbaga, implement mo lang kung ano yung pinaghandaan mo dito sa response phase. So, dito, coordination and saving lives na yung focus natin. And then, after nun is recovery, no? So, this is to restore and improve facilities, livelihood, and living conditions, and organizational capacities affected communities. So, kung makita niyo yung sa ano ngayon, sa Tacloban, 'di ba, after ng no? So, nag-improve na sila, pero, um, nagpaplano na sila para hindi ulit mangyari yung nangyari sa kanila nung Ondoy. So, restoring, nung Yolanda pala, sorry. Nung telecommunications, infrastructure, improving lives, recovery, rehabilitation, and other services. So, ito under sa DRM naman din 'to. Ito rin yung 4 phases ng disaster, no? Pero ang sinasabi naman nila is sabay-sabay nangyayari 'to, no? So, puwede ka pa rin magkaroon ng disaster preparedness, puwede tayong magkaroon ng prevention mitigation, and habang nag-disaster response, no? So, para magkaroon ng safe, adaptive, and disaster resilient Filipino communities toward a sustainable development, okey? So, puwede ka pa rin makapag-prepare kahit nangyayari yung disaster or puwede kang mag-recovery, no? Tapos ito naman is yung ano naman, kapag impact ng disaster. So, pre-impact, impact, and post-impact. So, usually, ito ginagamit na time din is within 72 hours, no? Yun yung impact natin. So, dapat sa pre-impact pa lang, nagprepare na tayo, nagpa-plan na tayo para pagdating ng impact, response na tayo kung ano yung pinagplanuhan natin, ma-implement na natin para ma-lessen yung effect niya nung natural disasters. Then post-impact, more than 72 hours, so geared na tayo towards recovery, rehabilitation, reconstruction, and evaluation. Okay. So here we can see the different government systems na so at least may idea tayo kung ano yung mga pwedeng natin lapitan in times of disaster, no? So NDRMC or National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council is the primary coordinating body in the Philippines for disaster management. So it advises the president, preparedness, operations, and coordinating agencies and allocating resources for emergencies. So it was established under the RA 101/21 and administered by the OCD under the Department of National Defense. So its mission is to ensure the protection of life and property during disasters through integrated multi-sectoral efforts, managing everything from early warnings to post-disaster recovery. So ito ay under siya ng OCD under din ng National Civil Defense, no? So kita niyo yung NDRMC, kumbaga integrated na siya under ng OCD. So kung makita niyo NDRMC it's a council, no? So ang chairperson niya is yung Secretary of National Defense, pero may mga different vice chair siya which are also the secretaries from different agencies. So vice chair ng disaster prevention and mitigation is sa DOST. So malaking tulong yung Pag-asa, FIVOX, no? The vice chair ng DILG, so preparedness naman. Kaya usually yung incident command system training under ng DILG din, no, coordinated din sila, no. So kapag response naman DSWD, di ba? Sila yung nagre-respond, sila yung naglalapitan. And then recovery is NEDA, rehab and recovery, no. Pero kasali pa rin syempre yung mga other government agencies tulad ng DOH, no, other pa rin siya. Pero ito lang yung mga usual vice chairs ng NDRMC. Next, so bilang tayo, Quirino is under din ng DOH, no? So at least makita nyo yung kung nasaan tayo. So iba yung nagre-responde. Usually, di ba, DRM nagdadala rin ng pasyente sa DOH, no? Pero iba yung mga health centers, kung mapansin ninyo, di ba? Iba yung mga nasa barangay as compared dun sa NDRM na iba yung office nila. So at least ma-picture nyo yun. No? So dito sa DOH naman, kita nyo yung mga specialty hospital. So Quirino, part of isa also a DOH hospital, no? Pero ito yung mga iba't ibang ano niya sa mga iba't ibang structure. Pero kung maalala nyo na ang DOH is devolved. No? So from the national, 'di ba? Binababa niya rin yung sa regional, provincial, municipal and barangay level. So usually kung tayo, 'di ba, nasa barangay level, um usually ito yung mga health centers, no? As compared dun sa NDRM na nabanggit ko kanina na coordinated with DILG. Okay. So ito yung sa devolution din of DOH. And then, ito, binabanggit ko lang na sobrang dami ng DOH programs. No? Ang dami nilang gustong through maternal health, mga non-com, communicable diseases. No? So, ang dami nilang minomonitor. Pero isa doon din is isang bureau under ng DOH is yung HEMB. No? So, the Health Emergency Management Bureau or HEMB is a unit under the Philippine Department of Health responsible for coordinating health sector responses, emergencies, disasters, and crises. It develops policies for disaster risk reduction and management in health, or DRMH, and trains responders, monitors events 24/7, ensures timely, integrated, and effective health emergency management nationwide. So, kung meron tayong mga kapatid dyan from HEMB, no? So, ito yung ano natin, as compared sa DRM. So, pero, coordinated yan. Kumbaga, nag-uusap-usap, nagtutulungan. Okay? Para nga, makapag-serve pa rin sa Filipinos. So here is the incident command system. It is a standardized on-scene, all-hazard management concept designed for effective command and control and coordination of emergencies. So usually nga, training siya na under OCD. So, banggitin ko lang din na nung time nung Yolanda, di ba? Ang daming mga volunteer groups na pumunta sa Tacloban noon. Tapos kanya-kanya silang volunteer. Pero hindi nila kinoordinate sa incident command system. So kumbaga lahat sila nasa Tacloban pero meron pang mga karatig bayan na kailangan ng tulong. No? So ito, yung incident command system. So kung informed sana yung mga volunteers na yon with regard sa incident command system, meron ng ongoing sistema na nangyari doon. Mas marami pa sana natulungan. No? So isa sa mga binanggit lang din ng mga naging problema na no? Hindi coordinated yung mga response noong time na ito. Next is yung hospital and healthcare preparedness. So, hospital and healthcare preparedness for disasters is a multifaceted approach designed to ensure that medical facilities remain functional and can handle a sudden influx of patients during emergencies. So, kita nyo kanina, di ba? Sobrang organized lang sa Japan, no? So, modern preparedness focuses on the 4S. So, staff, space, and systems. So, it could be improved through emergency drills, evacuation plans, and surge capacity. Kasi pagdating ng disaster, the hospital acts as a beacon of light in a disaster by serving as a critical hub of safety, care, and resilience when surrounding community infrastructures failed. These institutions become essential sanctuaries for both disaster victims and emergency responders. So, yun nga, di ba, kita nyo naging evacuation center na rin yung ospital. Kasi nga, siya na yung linalapitan kapag may kailangan yung mga taong bayan in times of disaster. So ito, yung mga kailangan natin improve kapag preparedness phase pa lang, di ba? So yung 4S ng ano natin. So staff refers to specialized trained personnel required, including clinicians, nurses, and support staff, as well as the need for disaster labor pools. So ito, kamusta ba ang staffing ninyo? Ano ba? So, sobrang overworked ba? Kita niyo sa Japan, di ba? Parang ang dami nila as compared sa hospital natin. Kumbaga yung staff to patient ratio, mas maganda yung nung response nila, 'di ba, sa video. Ngayon, staff to patient ratio natin, sobrang overwork ng staff natin, no. So, ito sana dito pa lang ano na tayo, ma-improve na natin, no. So, syempre yung training din kasali din sa staff 'yon, no. So next, yung resources. So refers to the supplies, equipment, and pharmaceuticals necessary to provide care during a crisis. No? So, yan. Again, kamusta ba ang ospital ninyo? May gamot ba kayo? Diba? Meron ba kayong lifelines na makakatulong in times of disaster? So ito, at least prepared kayo. And then next is yung space. So focuses on the physical environment, including repurposing existing areas. So example yung emergency department, ORs, ICUs for triage, treatment, and temporary housing and capacity. So at least identified yung space, no? So next is yung system, yung structure. It involves the organizational structure, command centers, hospital command system, and policies that facilitate coordinated, efficient responses. So dito, yung sistema, um, ready na ba yung mga disaster plan ninyo? 'Di ba? So ito na kasi pagdating disaster, ito na yung susundan ninyo, yung systems, ano yung mga protocol. Kunwari, nagkaroon ng disaster, yung mga siyempre yung mga tao diyan gusto nila umuwi para sa mga pamilya nila, 'di ba? Pero dapat meron kayong plano din in times of disaster kung paano yung mga makasingil or makakuha pa rin ng sweldo, mga overtime pay, yung mga tumulong in times of disaster. So, yun yung mga ito yung mga 4 S's, staff, stock, space and systems. So, i-check nyo kung ano yung baseline ninyo. Kasi kung ngayon pa lang, pangit yung baseline ninyo, paano pa kaya pagdating ng disaster? So, di ba, nabanggit natin yung disaster is exceeds the capacity of the organization to respond in terms of to provide services, no? So, ibig sabihin ba, araw-araw nasa disaster tayo? 'Di ba? So, yun yung mga dapat natin pag-isipan or pwede natin ayusin para sa preparedness phase pa lang, maayos na natin. Para pagdating response phase, um, mas marami tayong matutulong and less yung impact ng disasters. Okay? Also, here, preparedness frameworks and tools na pwede nyo i-check. No? So, parang checklist siya na pwede nyo gamitin. Yung WHO Safety Index. So, kasali dito yung logistics, yung 4 S's natin. No? So, match check din. Hospital Preparedness Program and Hospital Preparedness for Emergencies. So, pwede nyo i-check to no? Para ma-assess nyo yung situation ninyo. And then, ito, yung community preparedness. So, community preparedness and disaster management empowers the local residents to collectively identify risk, create action plans, and act as immediate first responders, significantly reducing vulnerability and fostering resilience. So, this is a proactive, bottoms-up approach. So, ibig sabihin, yung taong bayan na nag-iisip para ma-improve yung sistema. Unlike kunwari sa yung mga top-down na decision making, kung saan yung ano yung sinasabi lang ng mayor, mga LGUs, yun lang yung in-implement sa community. So ito, bottoms up yung approach nito. Dapat yung community mismo, sila na yung naghahangad paano ma-improve yung mga sistema nila. No? So, pwede sila humingi ng local committees, training emergency skills, establishing early warning systems, and building social cohesion and manage disasters effectively before, during, after they occur. So tulong-tulong, 'di ba? Pilipino, bayanihan, 'di ba? So ganoon din sa community preparedness. So example nito is paano ba yung early warning systems, 'di ba? Meron ba kayo dito sa barangay namin parang may narinig ako tricycle umiikot, mga barangay, mga ganun. So at least alam ng mga tao na meron kayong early warning system o kaya meron nagwawawang sa mga kanto, 'di ba? Kunwari mag-earthquake, mag-flood, evacuation center, so identified na dapat kung saan yung evacuation center na malapit sa inyo. And roles of schools, NGOs, and faith-based groups, no? So usually dito yung volunteers na tumutulong maliban sa government natin, no? So lalo't ngayon, 'di ba? Yung marinig yung mga flood control projects, 'di ba? So wag naman sana natin kumbaga iasa lahat sa government. Pero syempre dapat mag-demand pa rin tayo kung ano yung dapat para sa atin. I-demand natin. Pero dapat tayo rin, meron tayong ginagawa para sa community natin. No? So, next is yung practical preparedness measures. So, yan. So, kita niyo yung mga effects, di ba? So, kanya-kanyang levels naman, paano tayo makapag-prepare. Okay? So, kita natin yung mga iba't mga organizations na pwede makatulong sa atin. Okay, pero sa level ng individual family or family level, dapat kayo, you should focus on personal safety, di ba? kung tayo bilang doktor or nurse or healthcare workers, paano tayo makakatulong kung sarili natin hindi natin matulungan, 'di ba? So dapat tayo, focus tayo sa personal safety. So meron tayong emergency kits. So DLE may laman na water, food, flashlights, and family communication plans, no? So go bag, no? So ito yung mga essentials. Mamaya papakita ko image ng DOH, no? And household evacuation plan. So for example, ikaw nasa trabaho ka, tapos biglang nangyari ngayon the big one. Saan kayo magkikita-kita ng mga kamag-anak mo? Di ba? Make sure mo ba na ligtas sila? So, dapat meron kayong plano. Di ba? So, identify ninyo kung saan kayo magkikita. Siyempre, down ang mga communications dyan, walang signal. Di ba? Down din ang mga transportation kung sarado yung mga kalsada. So, dapat ngayon pa lang, meron na kayo pinag-uusapan. Pag nangyari itong earthquake or nagbaha, kita-kita tayo dito sa evacuation center na ito. So, identify nyo na. Diba? Preparedness pa lang. Hindi yung magkakaano tayo. Okay? So, here is from the DOH, no? Ano ba naman ang go bag mo? So, una, pagkain. So, syempre kasali doon yung water. Diba? First aid, paano kayo mag-manage or kahit yung mga triangle bandage, maganda sana meron din naman yun. No? So, yung mga useful, mga batteries, mga documents natin. Toiletries, di ba? Part din ng isa sa mga problema kapag nasa evacuation center ka is yung sanitation. So, usually, mga pagtatae, dapat parati kang malinis para ma-prevent yung mga sakit na dahil doon. Usually, ang go bag dapat kaya mag-last ng 3 days, di ba? Sabi natin kanina, yung impact is 72 hours, no? Para after ng impact, no, usually dapat may nakakatulong na sa inyo. No? So, at least kaya natin makapag-survive within 3 days. Yun na naman ang go bag natin. Okay? So, ito yung individual family level, no? Next is yung community level. So, it involves building community-based disaster committees, identifying local hazards, establishing evacuation routes, and conducting local drills. So, sa mga barangay nyo, di ba? Pwede kayo, usually may mga maps na yan, may mga arrows towards evacuation centers. No? So, dito sa community level, syempre, kailangan natin ng good governance. No? Kapag hindi siya priority ng LGU ninyo, ni Kapitan, ni Mayor, di ba? Paano tayo makakapaghanda, 'di ba? Kung wala siya sa priority list niya, paano tayo mag-allocate ng resources, 'di ba? Kasi kailangan pa rin natin ng investment para sa disaster risk reduction. Okay? Then yung mga community, dapat nagpa-participate sa drills, no? Yung mga drills natin, sana mas maging functional na. Graduate na tayo sa the cover and hold, di ba? Alam na natin, evacuate tayo, ganyan tayo, tapos pagdating sa dulo, pila-pila, picture. Pero, pagdating ba ng disaster, ganun lang ba gagawin natin? Kailangan pa rin natin tumulong, no? So, kita niyo yung sa Japan, kahit yung mga nasa admin, nagtutulak ng mga silya, di ba? Alam nila kung ano yung mga pwede nila makatulong, mga roles, di ba? So, yun. So, participation in drills, no? Importante, no? At least, nga, alam natin evacuation, na-master na natin. Very good yan, no? Pero we could also improve paano natin gawin yan. First aid and basic life support training. So, meron tayong mga BLS, hands-only CPR, basic emergency care na training, mga DOH, WHO, no? So, tayo kasi bilang responders, community level pa lang. Sana trained na rin. Then, early warning systems and communication. So, nabanggit ko na kanina. In times of disaster, communication is the weakest link, no? So, para ma-organize mo yung buong sistema, kailangan meron kang ways of communication. So, isipin nyo paano, dapat parati ka may redundancy. So, paano pagbagsak yung telephone lines? Wala kang signal, di ba? So, biglang, dapat may redundancy ka. So, pwede kayong gumamit ng mga two-way radios. Kung wala, pwede kahit telegrama, mga runners, di ba? So, pinapasabi na kailangan namin ng ganito sa ganito, di ba? So, always communication is the weakest link. So, yun sa mga dapat natin establish once na magkaroon ng disaster. Para makahingi rin tayo ng tulong, di ba? So, again, ito yung know your hazard. So, ideally, sa community ninyo, alam nyo kung ano yung mga hazards na meron kayo para alam nyo rin kung ano yung kailangan nyo paghandaan. Di ba? Next is yung hospital institutional level. So it involves government and NGOs establishing warning systems, no, stockpiling resources, and developing contingency plans. So kanya-kanya institutions tayo, di ba? So dapat may plano na rin tayo para ma-improve natin. So tayo sa hospital, dapat meron tayong hospital incident command system, or pwede tayo humingi ng training galing sa Office of Civil Defense, no? Para makapag yung mga di ba nabanggit ko kanina yung good governance. So sana yung mga health or mga leaders natin is trained din sa hospital incident command system para may idea sila kung paano mag-operate interagencies. No? Next is yung simulation exercises. So, again, di ba, meron tayo national simultaneous or quick drill every quarterly. No? Tapos, usually, kapag record din tayo ng fire and mass casualty exercise. So, ito, master na natin yung evacuation. So, sana, ito, yung actual events, kung paano talaga tayo mag-function as a hospital or healthcare institution sa labas ng hospital. Okay? Coordination with local government and emergency responders. No? So, kanina, di ba, yung mga iba't mga agencies, DRM, MB, no? Tulong-tulong yan. No? So, kasali pa rin yan, DILG, yung fire, police, di ba? Hindi lang naman puro health ang problema kapag nagkaroon ng disaster. So, usually kapag earthquake, may secondary fires na rin yan, di ba? So, yeah, response pa rin. So, for conclusion, again, ito yung naging outline natin, no? Una, yung introduction and definitions, no? So, nakita natin yung importance of disaster preparedness in the Philippines, no? So, nakita natin yung brief overview, kung pati yung country's geographic vulnerability, kung nasan tayo, yung Pacific Ring of Fire, no? So, typhoons, fault lines, so gano'n tayo ka at risk. Number 1 tayo. Congrats, Philippines, no? Pero pwede natin sana ma-improve yung ating capacities, no? So, nakita natin mga definitions natin, di ba? So, ito yung natin, hazards, exposure, vulnerabilities. It exposes us to our disaster risk. Okay? So, sana may improve pa natin yung capacity natin para mapababa naman natin. Huwag naman tayo number 1 sa disaster risk, no? Okay? Next is yung natin, common natural disasters in the Philippines. So, typhoons, flood, mga tropical cyclones, flooding. So, its impact. So, nangyari sa atin, di ba? Yung Yolanda, Haiyan, Ondoy, di ba? So, pati mga secondary hazards kasali doon, di ba? Yung storm surge, landslides, mga preparedness natin. Kapag earthquakes naman, di ba? Nakita natin yung major fault systems, yung West Valley Fault, nasa tayo, sa Pacific Ring of Fire. So, yung mga risk niya, yung mga direct and indirect risk, sa volcanic ano pala yun. Pero yung earthquakes, di ba, yung meron tayong risk for building collapse and liquefaction. Yung volcanic eruptions naman, kita yung mga active volcanoes natin, yung Mayon, Taal, Pinatubo, no? And then, yung mga pwedeng direct and indirect effects ng volcanic eruption. So, yung ashfall, tapos yung pyroclastic flow, long-term displacement, then landslides. So, usually nga, triggered siya ng heavy rains, earthquakes, tapos yung mga nasa Barsuran, pwede pa rin mag-landslide doon. Then tsunamis, so coastal vulnerabilities due to seismic activity sa mga dagat na malapit sa atin. So, yun yung mga yung mga warning signs, di ba? Kapag nakikita niyo na lumalayo na yung coastline, di ba? So mukhang after an earthquake sa coastal natin, takbo na kayo kagad sa higher level. Okay? So hindi natin alam kung gaano kalakas or gaano kataas yung magiging effect ng which is different pa sa storm surge, di ba? And then, yung impact ng natural disasters. So, nabanggit natin yung human toll. So, casualties, displacement, psychological effects, health problems, di ba? And then, yung economic losses, no? So, mas maganda mag-invest na tayo ngayon pa lang kaysa gumastos tayo ng malaki pagdating ng disaster. So, invest na tayo sa disaster preparedness, resilience natin. Okay? And then, environmental consequences. So, mga deforestation, soil erosion, pollution. No? So, kumbaga ito yung mga secondary effects ng disaster. No? Dito, after pa mararamdaman yung mga sakit dahil dun sa environmental consequences natin. Next is yung disaster preparedness framework, kung saan nakita natin yung mga iba't ibang government systems, no? Yung NDRMC or National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council. So may mga kanya-kanyang local DRM office din yan, no? Meron din through barangay level initiatives. As compared dun sa mga health responders natin, no? So, yung mga nasa healthcare bilang DOH is devolved, no? So, meron mga tao din sa health, no? So, bilang tayo, DOH, no? So, yan. Next, yung mga pwede natin gawin sa hospital and healthcare preparedness level, no? So, yung mga drills, evacuation plans, dapat meron tayong mga plans, no? And surge capacity, no? And then, yung role ng incident command system. So, kita mo iba't ibang government agencies, pero dapat coordinated sila sa isang incident command system para pare-pareho kayo at the same page kayong lahat, no? Pareho kayo ng objectives. And then sa community preparedness, no? So, malaking impact pa rin ang pagiging handa ng isang community. So, mag-volunteer, no? Meron dapat yung early warning systems. So, alam niyo kung saan kayo evacuation center, relief, no? So, pwede niyo itap yung mga schools, NGOs, yung mga sa church, no? Yung mga faith-based groups. Pwede niyo silang itap, no? Usually, gusto rin nila volunteer. Okay. So, next is yung practical preparedness measures. So, iba't ibang level tayo, di ba? Una sa family, individual, no? Next is yung community, and then yung sa kanya-kanya institutions, no? So, sa individual, di ba yung family level, dapat meron tayong go bag, no? Ideally, good for 72 hours, no? Or 3 days, no? Kaya meron tayong food, water, kaya natin mag-provide nun. Yung mga gamot natin, documents, flashlight, ilaw, kuryente, diba? Sanitation. Next is yung household evacuation plan. So, sa kanya-kanyang bahay ba, alam niyo kung saan kayo magkikita once na mangyari yun? Kasi minsan, di ba, nasa work ka, nangyari yung disaster, di ba? So, yun. Dapat may plano pa rin kayo kung mangyari. Next is yung community level. So, again, participation sa drills, training kung may pondo, no? So, sana maging priority ni CAP, no? Or ni Mayor, yung DRM. And then sa hospital institution level, so simulation exercise, so nagawa naman natin. And coordination with local government agency responders. Okay. So again, di ba yung mga sample lang din ng mga nangyari sa atin is yung Yolanda, Taal Volcano, yung nakaraan lang din na mga double earthquake sa Mindanao. Diba? So yun sa Bohol, so yung mga pwede, nangyari na sa atin. So ayaw na natin magkaroon pa ng, or malesen natin yung impact ng mga natural disasters. Okay? So, yung conclusion natin, ito na-outline natin. So, balik tayo sa objectives natin. No? So, by the end of this lecture, participants will be able to first recognize Philippines' vulnerability to natural disasters and their impacts, describe the national, local, and institutional frameworks for disaster preparedness, discuss naman natin, apply practical measures for individual, family, and community readiness, appreciate the importance of resilience and collective responsibility in disaster management, and commit to integrating disaster preparedness into everyday life and professional practice. No? So, dagdag ko lang din sa conclusion ko itong mga priorities for action natin. So, ideally, no? Priority 1, understand natin yung disaster risk natin. So, yan, may mga health hazard maps tayo na pwede natin. Ma-understand natin ano yung, at saan tayo at risk, no? Yung mga capacities natin, no? Paano natin ma-improve yung, at ma-mitigate yung damage ng mga natural disasters. Priority 2, strengthening disaster risk governance to manage disaster risk. So, yun nga, nabanggit ko kanina, kung hindi siya priority ng LGU natin, di ba? Paano tayo magre-respond? So, yung mga leaders natin, sana may vision in disaster preparedness, no? Para pagdating ng disaster, maganda na yung response natin. Kasi yung leaders natin, sila usually yung may hawak ng pondo, which is papunta tayo sa priority 3, no? Investing in disaster risk reduction for resilience. So, kung gusto natin, di ba, disaster risk reduction, pero kailangan pa rin natin na resources, no? Kailangan natin mag-invest dito through trainings, di ba? Mitigation, mga infrastructure, manpower, kailangan natin ng mga tao. Yung 4S's natin, di ba? So, kailangan natin resources doon. So, sa staffing, di ba? 4S, di ba? Space, di ba? Yung supply, kailangan natin ng gamit, and then yung systems natin. So, kailangan natin mag-invest for disaster risk reduction, for resilience. Then, for enhancing disaster preparedness for effective response and build back better in recovery, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. So, ito, nakuha to sa Sendai framework kung saan nag-uusap po sa iba't ibang bansa para yun nga, may framework para ma-reduce nga yung with regards sa disaster risk reduction management. So again, conclusion natin, preparedness saves lives, no? It reduces losses, no? Healthcare, economic, environmental. No? It also strengthens resilience. So, integrating disaster preparedness into daily life, institutional planning, no? So, di ba, may iba't ibang levels tayo kanina, di ba? Family, community, institutions, no? So, dapat meron na tayong disaster preparedness doon. Tapos, not because disaster did not occur, preparation is not important, no? So, hindi porket nangyari, hindi nangyari sa atin, di ba tayo, hindi tayo affected. Wala na tayong pakialaman, no? Kumbaga, indirectly affected pa rin tayo. So, yun yung ano natin, mga key takeaways. Okay. So, kumbaga, hindi porket hindi nag-disaster, wala na yung ginastos natin for the preparedness na gamit. Di ba? Hindi. Ayaw mo nga magkaroon ng disaster. Di ba? Pero kapag nagka-disaster, dapat ready tayo sa pag-responde doon. Di ba? Okay? So, here are my references. No? So, ito lang din, closing, when systems fail, how resilient can the Filipino truly be? So, nakita ko lang dito sa internet, no? Pero kasi, bakit ba nagfe-fail ang system? So, wag sana natin i-romanticize yung pagiging resilient ng Filipino, di ba? Ay, Filipino tayo, resilient tayo. Hindi. Kailangan natin mag-demand din. Bakit nagfe-fail yung sistema natin? So, di ba, last year mga flood control projects, dapat magalit tayo doon kasi buhay yung kapalit. No? So buhay, so maliban sa yun nga, yung mga impacts niya, di ba? Yung health, ay sa human resources, sa economic, di ba? And then sa environment, bakit nagfe-fail ang sistema natin dito sa Philippines? Di ba? So, wag natin i-romanticize ang pagiging resilient natin Filipino. Malaking tulong, pero we should demand more. Okay? Sige po. Yun lamang po. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alpaño, for this very informative lecture. So we will now proceed to our question and answer portion. For our participants, if you have any questions for our speaker for today, you may type into our chat box and we will relay. Thank you. So, start na lang din po tayo, Doc, habang nagtatype pa yung questions or kung may mga questions sa participants natin. Meron ba tayo, Doc, efforts or at least planned efforts between either initiated ng hospital or initiated ng LGU or DRMO regarding sa mga disaster response or at least inter-hospital or between the LGU and the hospital with regards to disaster management po?
Meron naman active ang QC and DRMO, no. So may mga contacts naman din tayo doon. Nakikipag-usap din yung, 'di ba? Kung mapapansin bilang DOH hospital, 'di ba? So nagdadala sila ng mga pasyente sa atin. So tumatawag naman sila para nako-coordinate yung mga pagdala ng mga pasyente, no. So minsan lang sa atin, di natin nasasagot. Pero merong incident command system sila or central command system kung saan nag-ano sila, coordinated in disaster response ng buong Quezon City. So, ganoon din. So, assess nyo rin kung gaano ka-active yung NDRMO sa kanya-kanyang areas ninyo. No?
Okay, Doc. May comment lang din po dito, Doc. Actually, from same person naman to, 2 comments po. So, yung first comment niya initially was yung sa medyo beginning nung presentation ni Doc, na yun nga, parang ang napapansin niya, wala daw tayong disaster procedures na area specific. So, ang nakita lang natin ay drills, training the people to how to evacuate and evacuate predetermined patients. Suggestion din sana kung meron ba tayo, pero mag-develop ng different procedures per area such as ICU, the ER, or even the laboratory tulad ng pinakita doon sa video.
No, actually, marami ng efforts yung HEMB natin, no? So, shout out sa ano natin. Meron tayong mga mga public service continuity plan, no? So, HEMB, nagtitrain tayo ng per area specific, no? Ayun nga lang, priority rin ba ng area ninyo yan? So, yun nga, minsan kasi nagkakaproblema din tayo dahil busy na nga rin tayo, di ba? Kulang tayo sa manpower, tapos biglang hihingin ka pa ng mga plans na to. Pero kasi sana makita nyo rin kung gaano ka-importante itong mga plano natin, no? So, meron efforts ang ating MBS sa institution natin, no? Um, kinokolate lang din. Meron tayong disaster risk reduction plan, no? As a hospital, no? So, nasa ano rin yun, nasa online na ano natin.
Mm.
So, meron tayong specific. Pero, yun nga, next step natin through our drills is maging area specific. So, agree naman din tayo doon, no? Na-master na natin yung evacuation plan natin. Diba? Alam natin pag-evacuate. Pero kasi pagdating ng disaster, hindi lang naman tayo ganun. Diba? So, yun. Kaya gusto sana namin yung feedback ninyo per area, no? Dapat kayo mismo per area may plan kayo para pagdating ng time ng disaster, alam niyo na rin kung ano yung kailangan yung gawin, di ba? Paano na tayo makakatulong sa mga patients natin?
Sige lang, thank you. Ito na may another comment din. Actually, comment suggestion from the same person as earlier. So, may napanalunan daw kasi, may nakuha tayong 300,000 na grant from QC Government's Green Awards last year, specifically for resilience and disaster prevention. Sinuggest niya na baka meron tayong pwedeng magawang efforts possibly to train grassroots, specifically barangay level and household level, na so we can do basic procedures. They can do basic procedures and to be trained at referral to reduce hospital burden in the long run.
Yes, agree. Yun nga, kaya rin tayo na ito, yung equip natin, no, para capacitate tayo ng mga people from outside our institution para ma-build din yung capacity nila, no. Once na-build na rin kasi ng capacity nila, marami na tayong nagtutulong-tulong, di ba? Para mag-manage yung mga patients natin. Kasi kung hindi sila capacitate, matik yan, dadalhin na lang nila dun sa ospital, no? So, ayun po, thank you for the comment, no? So, sana ma-utilize nga natin. So, at the same time, ma-build natin yung capacity natin as a hospital para ma-improve natin yung whole system. So, again, yung 4 S's natin, di ba? Yun yung mga knobs na pwede natin ayusin. So, staffing, supplies, space, and then yung systems natin. Agree po. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. So, mukhang wala naman ng additional comments and wala na additional questions mula. Ito, may additional question tayo. So, maliban sa pagtutulak ng Celia, so ano ba daw, Doc, kung pwede may tulong ng ibang admin staff or encoders? Especially especially sa encoder side kasi usually ang trabaho nila is with regards sa IT. So, paano pag wala naman daw internet? Ano daw yung mga pwede nilang maiambag regarding disasters?
So, di ba kapag nagkaroon ng disaster, maraming mga pasyente, no? Kahit yung mga pag-assist lang sa pag-aakay ng mga pasyente, no? So, pagdidirekta kung kung saan pupunta yung mga pasyente, pagtuturo, saan po banda yung mga pasyente, di ba? Kailangan alam natin, so maganda sana sa mga staff natin, alam natin kasi, di ba nag-check-in tayo, di ba naglilista tayo ng mga, natin, ng mga pangalan or per area, di ba? So, once na nalista na kayo, yung incident command system na natin ang pwede mag-deploy sa inyo, no? Para kunwari alam nila may pangangailangan dito sa supplies, di ba? So pwede kayo tumulong doon. So dapat inform din yung incident command system. So maganda sana makapag-train tayo as a whole para alam niyo rin kung saan yung role ninyo sa ospital. So marami pong matutulong, no? Hindi lang po sa pagtutulak ng Celia. So thank you po. So interest for asking or for help.
Sige, Doc. Kung mukhang wala naman na pong additional questions. So, again, thank you very much, Dr. Alpaño, for sharing your knowledge to our participants for today with regards to in managing natural disasters. So, we would like to proceed to the next part of our program, which is presentation of the certificate to be presented by Dr. Narito Alig.
Thank you po, Doc Jojo Alpaño, to be a part of this equip. And with this kind of certificate of appreciation, the certificate is presented to Dr. John Gilbert S. Alpaño for imparting his knowledge and insights during equip, entitled Natural Disasters Handa Tayo, Gabay sa Sakuna, held today, January 31, 2026, via Zoom meeting. Thank you po, Doc Jojo.
Thank you. Baka pwede tayo mag-photo.
Sige, Doc. Ano lang, proceed na lang.
This lecture on disaster preparedness serves as a vital reminder of power to reduce their impact through knowledge and action. The Philippines remains one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world, making the shift from a reactive mindset to a culture of proactive resilience, not just an advantage, but a necessity. Now, for the first part of this program, our speaker, Dr. Jojo, told us that even we are not directly hit by a certain disaster, wala na yung effect sa atin. We can be affected by it through economic and other effects po. And nowadays, we have already different platforms available on the internet. We have the Hazard Hunter and the different platforms po available on online to be used para makita natin kung ano yung mga hazard na available sa ating mga lugar. And the importance of capacity, na panood natin yung video kanina sa Japan, how advanced they are since 2011. And I hope in the Philippines we can also apply it. And simulan natin sa ating hospital. And of course, pagka tayo mga healthcare workers, natutunan natin mag-adjust to and prepare for a certain disaster, we can also apply it to our own families. And by doing that, we can be a big help to our community. And nabanggit din po ng ating speaker that communication is the weakest link kapag may disaster. That's why we need to improvise or develop certain way of communications. Simulan natin sa ating mga pamilya. And by understanding the frameworks of the NDRRMC and implementing the 4S of preparedness, staff, space, and systems, we can transform from potential victims into capable responders. And remember that preparedness is a continuous process of learning, planning, and practicing. Whether it is maintaining your personal go bag or participating in community-wide simulations, every small step contributes to a safer, more resilient nation. And let us commit to integrating these practices into our daily lives and professional responsibilities to ensure that when the next disaster strikes, we are ready to build back better. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay prepared. Thank you po.